Hello and welcome. My name is Elizabeth Ingero, and today on Let's Meet, we will be meeting someone called Andrew Ebireri, or Drew Ebireri, as he likes to be called. And we're going to be looking at his passion, something that he's picked up, and something that he's really pursuing in the next stage of his life. He's soon to be the author of a blog which will be called Drew Lightful, and he's currently on Instagram, where you can see some of the gorgeous and delicious dishes that he has created and documented. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get him on board and we'll ask him some questions, find out a little bit more about him, and then hopefully we can learn from the conversation. Maybe he can give us a few life tips and hints, especially during this time when people are thinking about what they're going to be doing in the future, thinking about their life options, thinking about what makes them, gives them purpose in life. What we're going to be using these meetups and these chat ups for is an opportunity really to discuss those goals and ideas and thoughts, and really an encouragement to inspire others to follow their dream and to do what it is that they believe that they've been called to do. So I've got Drew waiting for me. We had a bit of a technical mix-up because of the time zones, but for some strange way he's been able to get ready. I can see him standing by. Standing by. When you do come in, kindly do thumbs up the stream so that it gets shared out. If you are able to share it, then do share it out as well so that other people can come in. Send it out to wherever you know that you can send it to, WhatsApp, Facebook, anywhere you can think of. And we'll have a nice time and watch some really, really nice cooking. Unfortunately, we can't taste because this is virtual, but I think you can taste with your eyes. So let me just do a bit of a sound check to make sure the sound is on. It is. And we will crack on. So I just give you a welcome. Hi, Drew.
Hello. I guess I need to move this way. There we go.
Hello. Yes, I can see you clearly. How are you today?
Not too bad, you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. All right, let me just put these headphones on because these are the headphones that I use for most things, and they're like humongous. But they work well for me. Right. And I've got my popper here, if you can see that. So hopefully you won't hear too many tangs and popping sounds.
So far, so good.
Oh, that's good. And you're looking nice and clear. What camera are you using? What phone are you using?
I'm actually on my iPhone, so I'm using an iPhone 10 right now. And okay. I mean, the camera seems to be, I mean, they've always been pretty good at making decent phones with, really good cameras. So that's what I'm using right now, an iPhone 10. So, yeah.
Fantastic. So first of all, just to get our appetite going, can you just first of all tell us, because we're going to be chatting, excuse me a second, we're going to be chatting as you're cooking. So all I can say is good luck to you to be able to multitask.
That's perfectly fine. So
but we're going to be
have a lot of my done a lot of the prep work already, so it should be pretty straightforward, pretty easy, Yeah.
That's very handy. So just to whet our appetite, can you tell us what dish you're going to make for us today?
All right, we're making I'm actually going to be making a Mexican style bowl. So it's going to be rice with some sweet potatoes, some salsa, some cotija cheese, which is the Mexican cheese as well. And what else? I have some grilled peppers, some grilled onions. I can't lift this up right now too much, but I mean, this is what I'm dealing with right now. So,
oh, lots of color. I love that.
Okay.
Lots of color. Looks good.
Right. So, I mean, typically when I cook, I usually try to have a few colors in there. So your veggies, some red peppers, green peppers, some corn, maybe some beans if I'm trying to up my protein. It all depends on, if it's a quick lunch or if it's an actual dinner meal. So
Mm.
I can always,
So are you one of these people that you do? Are you doing like the what's it called? I think it's the 2-day fasting thing where you sort of you only eat from 12 o'clock because you
now
look like you're very much into your fitness, or
now
do you have your breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
I always have my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I always need to eat. I always have my snacks in between. I think the key is just trying to find some balance. So trying to exercise and, obviously try to eat somewhat healthy. I'm still going to have pizza. I'm still going to have ice cream. I'm still going to have a little bit of cake. I'm not a huge cake fan, but I'll have some. But it's just trying to find some balance here and there,
Yes.
and obviously the balance would, equal parts exercise and equal parts, a balanced meal,
Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to share
Okay.
your Instagram page, if that's okay, because I really want people to get an idea of the type of things that you create. I mean, I've seen some of the stuff and it is just mouth-watering. It's the kind of thing that you don't even need to eat. You could just look at it and you could be like, oh, I'm full now.
That's the whole point, I mean, a lot of times, when you go to restaurants and when you go out, if it doesn't look appealing, I think you'll probably walk out. So for me,
Yeah.
when I sit down to eat something, I know I'm probably not going out. So I also want to make sure that it actually looks really nice and, presentable and appealing so I can enjoy my meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah. That's very true. So let's just have a quick scroll through your Instagram page. And later on in the show, what I am going to do is I'm going to play a little game with you.
Okay.
It's called What Was That About? Okay, so I'm going to scroll through your social media and I'm going to pick an image. Hope you're ready. I didn't tell you about this, did I? I'm going to pick an image and I'm going to ask you, what is that about? Okay. And then you've got to explain yourself as to what it was exactly you were thinking at the time.
All right. Well, I'm a little scared about this, but let's do it.
Do you agree? Do you consent? Do you consent?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So, I mean, let's have a look at some of the stuff and everything that we can see here. Can you see what's on the screen at the moment?
Yes.
So everything on here, is this everything that you've cooked yourself, or is there anything here that is it sort of restaurant pictures? Are these all your meals?
I'd say about 90% of the pictures on there are all mine, and about 10% will probably be restaurant. If I went out to eat or I was on vacation, you might see some pictures from, some restaurants, some vacation pics. But I mean, for the most part, a lot of those would be mine. And then obviously, if you point them out, I can, let you know if it was mine or not.
Yeah. But I mean, just scrolling through this, I kind of don't want to stop. Do you know what I mean? I can't see anything here that I've thought, ugh, that doesn't look nice. Or,
well, my Instagram goes back as far back as 10 years. So if you get to the very bottom, a lot of my pictures, I'm honestly going to say are not too appealing. But that's the development that's come over the last 10 years, where you see on the upper section of my photos, you see some nice food pictures, and on the bottom end, you see some of my early food pictures, which were like, I can honestly say not too appealing.
Yeah. So, I mean, it just really looks gorgeous. One thing I like about your cooking and your food is that there's a lot of color. There's a lot of color, and you've got the reds, the greens, the oranges, the whites. It's very, very rich in color. And you've got one of my favorite dishes there, paella.
Oh, yeah.
So that is something that I'm partial to. I love paella. I really do.
That was actually.
I think I could book a flight to Spain when things open up just to eat paella.
That was actually a pretty healthy version also. So I used cauliflower rice as opposed to the actual rice that's usually used. So it actually ended up cutting a lot of the carbs out. So you have a pretty healthy dish, over there.
Okay, so we're going to start. I'm going to let you start preparing the meal now because we want to be able to see what it is that you create at the end of our conversation. But as we kick off, I'm going to throw out the first question to you, really. It's just really finding out about your background. What is it that you've been involved with, really, in your brief history? You're a young man, as am I, a young lady.
Yeah, we're all young, even though we got out of high school about 20 years ago.
I know, right? I'm thinking, and look, I'm very proud of my gray hairs. I'm like rocking. I'm like, yeah, I'm not plucking any of those out. That's experience. So what is it that what would you say then has been your life path, or where you've kind of been stirred in the direction of your life at this point in time? And then you can start cooking. You might need to move the camera so we can see your face, and then you can just tilt it as well as you're talking.
I'll just answer that question quickly, and then I'll move on to the cooking. So, I mean, I've actually, been in the corporate environment for about 6+ years now, 7+ years. I was doing asset management. Unfortunately, with the economy changing and all that, I got laid off at some point. But I mean, cooking has always been something I've been doing for about 10+ years. Actually, probably even longer, 15 years. So that's been my passion. Just something I picked up, after I lost a lot of weight from just eating out, not paying attention to what I ate, and not wanting to spend too much money going out to waste money actually going out and eating. So I just started watching cooking shows and practicing, here and there, making a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And as time went by, my skills just, started developing. So I was actually getting better in the kitchen, understanding techniques, in the kitchen, understanding cook times, understanding how to cook, different meats and different produce, rather, potatoes and all that, vegetables, and incorporating all of that into my meals,
Okay.
Yeah.
And so if you, so I'm going to let you move the camera right now, and then
Okay.
we can continue the discussion, because I really want to see this meal at the end.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. So I'm going to give you a little, so you can actually, yeah, there we go. So you can actually see the stove on here. So that's the stove top I'm going to be using right now. Can you see that clearly?
Okay. I can, but you will have to shout a bit, because now that you're going to be cooking, you'll be further away from the microphone, and there'll be sounds that we can hear. So you'll have to sort of have an unnatural speaking voice.
That's perfectly fine, because I actually don't need to do a lot. I did a lot of the prep beforehand.
Okay.
So our base for this Mexican bowl, a lot of times people use rice. A lot of times I use half and half. So what I'll do is, if I don't want to use a lot of extra rice, I'll use cauliflower rice. So what that's going to do, it's actually going to give me, it's actually going to fill me up a lot more, but I'm not going all carbs. Another option as opposed to rice would be to have a base of greens, so lettuce, spinach, something else, whatever greens you want. But I mean, I do have some rice here that will take about 15 minutes to make. All right, so this is just jasmine rice, but I also have some leftover rice in the fridge that I made about 2 days ago. So I'm not going to let that go to waste, which is what I do.
I think we could use the leftover rice. That's fine, because we know that you cooked it, so it counts.
So which is typically what I do a lot of times. I'll make some potatoes, I'll make extras, I'll make some rice, I might make a little extra, and if I need something for lunch the next day, I can easily just add it in to whatever I'm making. So I already have some leftover rice. So I'm going to try to make cilantro lime rice that's a little crispy. So a crispy rice, that's our base. So I'm going to start off with that. I'm going to get the rice.
Did I just lick my lips? I think I did. I have to remember that I'm on camera. Where's my tissue? Just in case I start drooling. Okay, so as you're cooking, hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, I can.
You can, okay. So just tell us then, in a sentence, a paragraph, if I was to start the sentence, who am I, to you, if I was to ask you to ask you a question, I'm a person who, how would you finish off that sentence?
That's actually pretty complicated, So
And what's that you're spraying? What's that? What type of, is that vegetable oil? What type of oil is
Yes,
that?
it's actually canola oil.
Canola oil. Okay.
You can actually, if you wanted to, you could use olive oil. You can use regular canola oil, but I use this a lot because it actually limits how much oil I use, so I don't have to use a whole lot.
You don't pour it.
I can watch what goes into what I make. So
that's good.
So I'm going to make some crispy rice. In order to get the crispiness, I need some grease, and that's why I'm using this.
So complete that sentence for me then, as you're doing that. I'm a person who.
Like I said, that's pretty complicated. I'm really structured. There's a lot of discipline in me. So I always have a plan. I'm always timing. If I'm going someplace, this is just an example of who I am. I keep a time of how long it's going to take to get gas, maybe how long it's going to take to get there, and how long if there's traffic, I account for that also. So I account for a lot of stuff, like all the probabilities that might come along as I'm going to this destination. So some of this definitely structured and disciplined, and I always like to have some sort of a plan, and that might be to a fault as well. So
So you recognize it as a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, because on the downside, I may not see the positive in just going with the flow and relaxing and taking time to just appreciate every little second that I'm going through.
The moment.
Right.
Yeah. So I hope the heat is on, because I can't see anything in the pan yet. You wouldn't be very good at a competition if the heat's on. Okay, good. So with that, oh, that's good. So with that, then, if you're kind of like a regimented person, you need to be in control. You need to know what's happening. How have you used that to your advantage?
I think it's actually good, because it actually allows me to set goals. Just have a plan that I can actually follow through with. If you don't have a plan, or you don't have a list of stuff you need to get done, or you just end up being aimless, I guess. And just not having a schedule, and not knowing how to keep your structure in place. So I think a lot of times it's good, because it allows me to visualize and plan stuff out. So.
And if you know where you're going, then it's easier to take a detour, I guess, as well. So even if you are sort of a structured person, if you know what the end goal is, then if something comes up, like a flat tire, or the gas station was locked, or something along those lines, you still know what your end goal is, so you can actually work towards that. Whereas if you don't know where you're going and you're just driving around, then it's like, okay, let's just waste another 15 hours of my life.
All right, so
so I'm just gonna, as you're heating that up, I'm just gonna say hi to a few people who are coming in. So we've got Ugaman01 official, who I think is a bit like you, because he was here like 10 minutes before the show actually started, which is great. So thank you very much for that.
I noticed that, So, and that's like me. I'm always early. So that's.
I think we've got that same gene, because I'm like that. I'll get somewhere early, and actually, as you say, sometimes it's to a fault. I get there like an hour early, but I make sure that I have work to do in the car while I'm waiting.
I don't think I'm that good, but that's I don't know if you probably remember this in high school. I was always one of the first people to get to school, and everyone made fun of me, and they always called me. I was always the first one to get there, and they were like, "Did you open up the gates or something, or what?"
Did you stay in the gatehouse? So we've got Aga Krenima, who's from Uganda, and he's a very good supporter of this channel, so you can check him out. We've got. Do you recognize this name, Remy Adetiba? Does that ring any bells?
Oh yeah, he's on Instagram. I follow him on Instagram, so I see all.
You follow him on Instagram?
Yeah.
So our producers in town, our producers in here as well. Actually, what is he now? Producer, writer, I think a bit of everything, photographer. And then we've got Mike Times. Thank you for coming, Mike Times. We've got Being Sharon as well, and anybody else who is in here that hasn't said something, just put a comment in and I will just acknowledge that you are here. So thank you very much for coming. Hopefully we'll get some life skills and life experiences. I think there's one thing that's important in life is to learn from other people's experiences as well as your own. Sometimes you don't have to make the mistakes yourself, or you don't have to get the successes yourself. You can watch what other people have done, learn from them, and adapt it to what you need to do to get to the end goal or to get to wherever you want to be in life. So I'm very, very much in favor of that. So you've just put some white rice.
Yeah,
Is it white rice or whole grain?
This is our jasmine rice, so white
Jasmine
rice.
rice, okay. So it's got a scent.
Right. So this is just leftovers. Rather than just let it go to waste, I'm going to reuse it for my lunch. So, but I'm not going to keep it the same way. So I'm actually going to tweak it just a little.
Spice it up.
Yeah. So I'm going to have some. I'm going to make it crispy for one. So a lot of times people, I don't know. A lot of people probably think, crispy rice is burnt rice or something. No, we're just trying to get a little crisp on it. And I'm going to add some lime juice, some lime zest, and some cilantro as well.
Okay, is the lime juice to counteract the oil that you put in, or just for flavor?
Just a little acid, and lime juice is actually used in a lot of Mexican dishes. So when you have your salsas, it's a good way to pickle, do a quick pickle also. If you want to pickle some onions or have some depth in your flavor, you just add some lime juice in there. So this is just going to give it a little extra. One of the key tips when you're making crispy rice, don't play with it. Just let it be, so just leave it the way it is. Let it get crispy. And once it starts getting crispy, you can start moving it around. But the key is always to just not play with it. Just let it be.
Okay, so there's a comment that I've just put up there. Elizabeth, I'm rather licking my lips too here in the UK. It's the first time I'm virtually smelling food in the US kitchen. Good job. Good job, Drew. There you go. And that you've just started with some white rice. So, I mean, look, imagine if you start, doing other things.
That's just going to be the base, So you always want to think about, what your base is going to be, So that's my base, either a rice or lettuce will be my base. So right now my rice is going to be my base. And I'm going towards a Mexican, angle. Style. So what that's going to mean is that I'm going to probably need some, black beans. I'm not going to do black beans on this, but I'm probably going to need some black beans if I wanted to, which is easy. Okay. I already have a can of black beans that could take 2 minutes to, rinse out and plate as well.
And heat up. So let me just let you know that anytime you're speaking to us here, hello, the people over here. Just tilt your camera up so that we can see your face. Because right now I can only see your elbow.
Yeah, that's fine. There we go.
Are we good?
Yep.
Everyone in the chat, can you see? Yeah, there we go. We can see you now. And I know we can also see the food as well. So, okay. So we've talked about who you are as a person. You're quite a regimented person. You're a person that has a plan. You want to utilize time to your benefit. Let's try and find out where this passion for food came in. Have you always, since you were a kid, have you always liked experimenting with food, or did that come later on in life?
I really only knew how to make, as a kid, I really only knew how to make 2 dishes. Rice and beans. The beans was a little more tedious because you had to clean it out. The stones,
and the insects.
And then cook it for an hour. So when my mom would come home sometimes, she would see that I made, she'd know because I always, love making beans, and I'll make it at least probably once a week or so. But, beans was something I always made, and I always felt comfortable making it, Rice obviously is pretty easy, but as a kid,
Well, it's not that easy. A lot of people burn rice. There is a technique to it. Well, leave the cover on, steam it.
They can call it crispy rice now if they burn it. So
that's true. So as you're doing that, you can keep on chatting. So rice and beans were the things that you knew and you were comfortable with. How did your Instagram page, how did you go from rice and beans to, different dishes, different cultures, different flavors and tastes and colors?
Right. So, like I said, initially I was just comfortable making the easy stuff, some basic, chicken parmesan, I guess, would be one of the first dishes I probably made. Watching cooking shows, and I was fortunate enough to see different parts of the globe, I guess. I've been to Mexico, Jamaica, and every time I try those food, I'm inspired to make something, either the same dish or something that's, coming off of those cuisines as well. So, I mean, I'm inspired by, watching cooking shows or seeing someone make something different. I don't like to do the same stuff. You're probably not going to see me make the same stuff you see online. I usually like to tweak mine a lot more and get a different, taste and give a different angle and
put your own spin on it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to check on the rice.
So you still haven't answered my question. Are you sure you don't want to go into politics? So where did that spark come from, though? Was it just because you traveled to different countries and you tasted the food? Or was there a point in your life where you're like, hold on a second, rice ain't beans isn't cutting it anymore. I really need to expand. Was it when you went to maybe university and then you had to keep on experimenting? Where did that spark start?
It was actually a combination of factors, if I'm not, because for one, I was eating out a lot. Okay. So I got to the point where I was about 230 pounds.
Can you describe what that is? I'm not good with like pounds and like how big is that?
I mean, it's probably about, right now, I'm probably about 200 pounds. So it's probably about 30 pounds. So just picture me about 30 pounds heavier.
Okay.
Or you could just pick up a 30-pound dumbbell and add that to what I
what you are now.
Right. So I was eating out a lot. I was eating out probably 3-4 times a week. And I wasn't paying attention to what I was, my weight, obviously, because I was just eating out. I thought I was still the same. And obviously, when you take pictures and you see pictures, you see that, you gained a lot. So, so I think it was a couple years. It was a long time ago, about 10, 11 years ago, and I just was exercising like every day in the summer, playing basketball. And by the end of the summer, I checked my weight and I had lost 30 pounds. And I was paying attention to what I ate at that point in time as well. So it just dawned on me that I actually need to focus on eating a lot more healthy. Because a lot of times when you go out, you have a nice dish, you never know what goes in it. And trust me, I've made a lot of dishes where, like, it calls for honey. And I put in about a tablespoon of honey, which is a lot. And I'm like, this doesn't taste, I don't taste the honey. I don't taste honey really. But when you go out and you have something with honey in it, and you can taste the honey, then you'd probably put in about a cup of honey in that. So a lot of times you never know what's going into the food you're eating outside. But when you cook at home, you can actually pay attention to what you put in it, So it was a combination of my passion just for cooking and watching cooking shows, and obviously
that inspired you.
Traveling as well, exploring different options abroad.
So don't make that burnt rice. We're looking for crispy rice now.
Crispy rice. So I don't know if you can see this really, but you can actually see some brown on it.
Oh yeah.
So you can see some brown flecks on it. So now it's starting to get crispy. All right. So it's probably, this is probably just about ready for me. I'll leave it on. Yeah. I think that's pretty good. So right now I'm going to add my lime.
That's better.
I'm going to add my lime juice. I'm going to add my lime zest to it. So.
Okay. So far this dish seems like, it seems like most people should be able to do this.
Right.
Because a lot of times with certain dishes, it's just so complicated. You're like, you need this and you need that ingredient and you need to do this for. But it seems like, well, rice is pretty much quite a worldwide dish that I've seen in different countries. And the way that you're working with it there now, obviously you use the pre-cooked rice, which is even better because someone could sort of cook food, keep rice left over, and then use this as a leftover dish.
Right.
And the other things that you have are vegetables. They're just sliced vegetables.
Right.
So, spot on. This is a type of dish that, you want to be able to help others recreate.
Right. So right now I'm trying to avoid waste because I actually do have some uncooked rice I could have used also. but I'm trying to avoid waste, so I'm also using my leftovers, so.
Okay.
So I have
good.
my lime going, okay, and I'm just gonna give it a little squeeze so I can get the juices in there loose, okay. So that's the tip.
So you see, now that's the difference between you and I. You can do that with your muscles, your muscles. I've got to put it on the table and roll it and put my
That's one
weight down
option.
and roll it.
And I also have a zester right now with me as well. So I'm gonna zest some of the juice on here into the pan, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So just as we're talking about muscles and building and stuff like that, I mean, from what I don't know if people can see, but you are very well toned or built. From your shoulders, you can see that you go to the gym. Am I right?
I actually have. Well, I go about 4 or 5 days a week, but I mean, with the lockdown going on, I've been going less. So I've been going. Obviously, not going to the gym, but I've been doing my workouts at home. So I mean, I actually have been doing them 7 days a week, except the last 4 days because I tweaked my back a little, so I had to slow down.
Oh, tut 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 tut! You got to catch up.
Yep.
So what is there anything that triggered you actually becoming more fitness? So not just what you take in lifestyle in terms of your food, health wise, internally, the physical aspect of it. What triggered that?
I think you feel better when you feel like you look you look better, you feel better to me. So you exercise, you keep a good shape, and you feel good about yourself. You can walk down the street with your head up. So for me, it's more about just feeling good when I walk down the street. Because I don't want to feel like I don't take care of myself. I don't have any responsibilities. So it shows that there's some discipline in me, and I feel good about myself.
So back to the discipline thing and being regimented.
Right. So that plays in, because there are days when I'm just too exhausted to go to the gym, and those days, that's when the discipline kicks in. When you may not want to go to the gym, but because you're so disciplined and it's become a routine, it's just something that you're gonna you get yourself up and you push yourself into the gym somehow. All right, so I have my lime zest in. I took that off the heat, but I'm also going to get some lime juice in as well. So
fantastic. So you've got the rice, you've made it into crispy rice, you call it, but it's not popping. It's not like Rice Krispies, right? You've tossed that around, you've heated it up, you've browned it, and then you're going to add the lime,
right
into that. The lime zest. Are you going to add some lime juice as well?
Yeah. So I have my lime juicer right now. I have a half a lime, and so I'm just going to add that in.
So we have here another. Well, she's an author already. We've got Wonuola Odunsi, who has come into the chat, which is great. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching, and hopefully we're going to be passing on and sharing some life experiences to encourage us really as a group of people to move forward in life step by step to get to our goals. And that is parsley.
This is some cilantro. All right, so I'm going to add some cilantro into this right now as well.
Do you have it growing? Is it live? Is it growing herb, or did you have that in the fridge? Do you have a plant that you just pick it up from?
I usually buy it, but actually my fiance just she had planted this about a couple weeks ago, and it's ready to go. So I just picked up from the porch a couple minutes ago.
Oh, that's nice. Fiance, congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you have a date set during lockdown, or?
It's actually next year, but we still don't. Everything right now, everything is still up in the air. So, but it's scheduled for next year. So hopefully, at that point in time next year, they would have figured all this out. So I add some cilantro in. I'm gonna go in with a little salt and pepper just to give it a little more flavor.
So why are you putting the cilantro in now?
The cilantro doesn't need to cook with the rice. You just need to give it a little extra flavor at the end. So you really don't need to cook it with the rice. So I mean, if you're making a soup or a stew, you can add it
on top.
Right. But this can be a garnish, or you can just add it in at the end. So.
Okay, that's what I usually do. So I was just wondering if there was some sort of chemical process or something that you're doing. There's a reason that maybe it releases something, but I guess not. So now,
cilantro has a little flavor, so you're definitely going to get some flavor from that.
Flavor from it. That's good. So I was talking about the type of person that you are. What would you say is your philosophy to life, or your attitude to life, the way you approach life? Can you sum that up, or can you sort of pick a few things that you hold on to that anchor you and that help you steer forward?
I think it's just staying positive for one, and just obviously focusing on the present. A lot of times, people focus on the past, and it's the past is the past, and people look too far ahead. I think you should obviously have a game plan or some sort of goals for the future, but not, look too far ahead. You need to start building tomorrow, today, by taking the steps.
Oh, I like that.
So it's just a matter of being a little more present. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not, great at being present, but I'm always trying to be as present as can be, so I'm focused on today. It's, getting those little wins, on a daily basis. That's all. Yeah.
But the fact is that you are aware of it, because you've just said now, I'm just looking for a pen because I want to write down what you said. And I had a pencil right here. Building tomorrow today. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I'll have to write your name next to it as a quote, unless you can tell me where if you quoted it from someone else.
I don't know. Look online. If it's somewhere online, then maybe, I guess I don't get the credit. But that just came out of me, right on the spot. So
you've been filling yourself with this type of stuff, so it just comes out every once in a while, which is good.
Yes.
I really like that concept, building tomorrow today and remaining present. But I think the fact that you are aware that you're not always present, and it is very hard, to be honest, even personally speaking, to be able to do that. But if you're aware, then you can actually take those steps to, to take time to stop and to look around, make an assessment, take in what you need to take in, and then continue moving forward. So I think that's really, really good.
Right. All right.
There's nothing burning on the fire, is there?
No, it's actually off. The rice is ready. So earlier on, I made some sweet potatoes.
Okay.
So I roasted some sweet potatoes to add to this as well. So this is just actually going to give me, it's going to fill me up a lot more. Some vegetables. I'm going to add some sweet potatoes to the rice, and I'm going to make a salsa as well. So
okay.
I'm just going to plug my phone in, and I'm going to get started building my salsa and building my bowl. Okay.
Fantastic. You do your thing. I don't know why, but sweet potato is one of those things that have really been calling to me these days. So I'm doing a lot of making them into cubes, just chucking them in the oven, chucking it in the oven, getting it soft, and then you peel the skin off. What else have we done with sweet potatoes? I don't know. They're just really great. You can put them in anything. You can put them in tortillas. You can put them in soups.
Right.
You can have them as a main. I think I've even seen, no, it wasn't sweet potato. They did broccoli. They did battered broccoli, and they made a sweet potato chips with battered cauliflower, sorry. So it was supposed to be a fish and chips. And then it was a vegan mayonnaise as well.
Oh, yeah. I was actually just reading on vegan mayonnaise yesterday. So I don't know if I overdo that, but that's one option for those that are vegan as well. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very easy as well. Once you know how, then you know how. So yeah, I think in terms of building tomorrow today.
Right.
I think it's very easy for us to kind of, if you are the type of person that you want to look ahead in the future, or you have ambitions, it's very easy to try and leap over rather than realizing that everything that we do today has an impact on the direction of our life and where we're actually going to be heading off to. So, like you were saying about exercising, mentally, you tell yourself that I have to do it today. Even if I don't feel like doing it, I have to keep on doing it.
Right.
because if I don't, I'll slip into the habits of, oh yeah, I just missed one day, and then it'll be, oh, I just missed 1 month, or oh yeah, and as a result of that, then you create a future you that isn't what as healthy as you could have been. But what tricks and tips can you give us then from your personal experience as to how to take those everyday steps rather than imagining and fooling ourselves that we can automatically just get to the end results? What tips?
I'm honestly, I'm not really great at it, but I mean, it's just a matter of having a plan for the day. Just having a plan for the current moment, and then focusing on today, and then after that, you focus on tomorrow. It's one day at a time, as they say. So it just having some sort of a plan. So have a goal, something to accomplish. Today, and moving forward with that. That's all.
So how are you then with prioritizing? What do you do in terms of, because yes, you could have goals and you could say, oh yeah, I want to do this, I want to keep fit, do you have a way of sort of focusing your mind on, actually, this is a priority, I must do this, and okay, I could do this? Or do you
Right.
just kind of go with the flow? What do I feel like doing today?
Actually, all depends. A lot of times that if I'm going out, for example, late on at night, which is when I usually exercise, so my priorities and my plans change. I know that when I get back, I'm probably going to be getting back late, and so if I'm getting back late, that means that I'm probably not going to exercise later on, especially if I'm tipsy.
Yeah.
So I think my plan would be to, try to get up early and exercise before I go out. And if I do that, I get that out of the way, and that's obviously that would be the highest priority for the day, at least for me. So just getting that out of the way and then enjoying the rest of the day.
Okay, so you're not giving yourself an excuse to I wouldn't want to use the word fail, but you're not giving yourself an excuse to get out of what you need to do for that day. So if you know you're going out in the evening, you plan ahead and you do your exercise in the morning.
Right. So,
okay, that's a good tip.
Yeah.
But then, of course, what do you do then if somebody invited you out and you weren't really planning on doing that? How do you sort of deal with the fact that maybe you're not able to achieve your goals, or how do you just deal with that?
It's I think it's all, I mean, exercising, it's obviously, having a plan to exercise and be healthy is good, but you should also have a plan to have a good time, so go with the flow. I mean, do you want to pass up on having a drink with a friend and tell them, oh, I'm sorry, I need to exercise today, and I can't make it, so I think at that point in time, you need to, especially if you haven't seen your friend for a long time or something, let it go. Tomorrow's another day. You get back on track. So just go out, have a good time, and just focus on enjoying that moment. Living in the moment. That's all.
So that's kind of adapting to the situation and not making yourself feel bad and beating yourself up that, oh, I didn't manage to do it. But then at the same time, it's recognizing that you're not putting those things in place to avoid doing what you need to do. It's like, oh yeah, you just call someone up. Do you want to go out for a drink? It's almost time for me to exercise.
And keep in mind also, you have a plan to exercise every day, and you lose one day. That's not going to kill you. It's just one day. I mean, if you lose, if you're someone that goes to the gym 7 days a week and you lose 7 days, you stop going for 7 days because you want to go out all 7 days. That's a problem. I think at that point you've lost focus. But yeah, it's just like I said earlier on, just trying to be a little more present and live in the moment. So
that's good.
Are
you going to build the salsa?
Yes, I'm actually going to do that right now. So I'm actually going to tilt my phone down a little, so you can actually see the process. All right.
So I think what we've been talking about applies really to anything, any life activity. It could be exercise. It could be, I don't know, finishing a course. It could be sitting down to write your life goals or your life plans. It could just be even learning about healthy eating and researching what you need to do to actually make those healthy lifestyle choices.
Right.
So in all of those things, it's a case of identifying, number one, what it is that you're trying to achieve.
Okay.
And then number two, what steps do you need to do to be able to achieve them?
Correct.
And then number three, most of all, well, not most of all, they all go in hand, is doing it and sticking to it.
Right.
Yeah. So you're putting in some corn?
All right, so this is some corn. You can either go fresh or you can go frozen. So I always have some frozen vegetables in the house, just in case if it's out of season. You know, I have some options. You know, I don't have to worry about going to get fresh corn. So I always have some frozen corn in the fridge. So this is going to be part of my salsa. It's going to be a corn salsa. So I'm going to add some corn into a little bowl, mixing bowl. I think that should be good. And I also have some green onions. All right, so I already cut up some green onions. I'm going to add some green onions as well.
So we call them spring onions.
Yep. I watch Gordon Ramsay, so I know spring onions.
And can I just say, while you're putting that in, if anyone has any questions for Drew, just put them in the chat. We'll put that up on the screen, and then we'll be able to see that question and put that through to him. So those are tomatoes or red peppers? What are those?
These are sweet grape tomatoes. So the little round tomatoes. I had about 4
cherry tomato. Yeah.
I had about 4 of them sitting around. So I figured, obviously, we're not going to let it go to waste. So let's use it up, right? So I'm going to add some of that in there as well. All right. And I'm going to add in some lime juice, some leftover lime juice as well. So, I know we've been talking for about an hour, 45 minutes about. So, I mean, typically this would take me about 15, 20 minutes to make if it's lunch. I don't want to spend an hour making lunch. So this is really easy. So some salt, a little pepper also. And I'm just going to
mix that in
a little. Now, if you wanted to, you could spruce this up a little more. Like I said, I usually don't follow recipes. I just add whatever I feel goes.
What you feel like eating.
Black beans goes in Mexican dishes, so I can add that in if I wanted to, or I can add it in on the side as well. But since this is going to be a quick lunch, just mix that in real good. All right, that's ready. So I also had, so while I was roasting the potatoes early on, I tossed in some green peppers,
some red onions,
some red peppers, and some onions as well. All right.
Okay.
And
those are red onions, right?
Yes. Yes, that's red onions. And I have some Mexican cheese. This is Mexican cheese. This is a cotija cheese. This is probably my favorite cheese of all of them. It's a little salty, a lot more salty than feta cheese, I think. But it also brings some flavor and some saltiness to the dish. All right.
I'm trying not to drool.
So now I'm just going to build my bowl. I'm just going to put that in.
Yes, it's one of those things you have to get used to, talking and doing. If you are sort of chatting and cooking at the same time, it is a skill.
And I have some sweet potatoes as well that I'm just going to add into the side, just a little bit.
Would you do that with plantain sometimes? Because I've seen on your page you've got plantain as well. You cook plantain.
I was honestly thinking of doing that. I actually had some leftover plantains, but I was actually gonna fry them up. But I was like, it's probably easier to just roast some sweet potatoes. So I was actually gonna. I actually have some recipes in mind using plantain. So I don't want to give those recipes out just yet because I might put them in the blog at some point.
They're going to be in the blog. So why don't we talk about the blog? So you're soon to be the author of a new blog, which will be called Drew Lightful, I believe.
Right. Yep.
What was the idea behind the blog, and what do you hope to achieve out of it?
I think it's for the most part, it's just a matter of giving people the options of, if they see my recipes and they like them, giving them the options of actually trying to make them. Because a lot of
Mm.
times on my Instagram page, I post a lot of my pictures, and some people sometimes want recipes, so I don't have recipes, honestly. I just go with the flow. So
Yeah.
a lot of times people, oh, send me that recipe, and I'm like over there trying to type, whatever I did an hour ago. So,
Remember.
so right
So
now,
you're going to be documenting.
right, the idea is to formalize it and document it, and hopefully, maybe, I don't know, down the road, see if it gets, grows and becomes something else of its own. You know. So I'm gonna add in some red peppers as well.
Okay.
All right. And I have my corn sauce, which I made also. So I'm just gonna.
You see, that's interesting because, like, when you were saying salsa, I've always pictured salsa as a wet sauce. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Rather than the like how you've had it there, like you can have it as like it's with the tomatoes, but the tomatoes don't have to be pureed.
Right.
So I was waiting to see what you were going to actually do to that, because I just have this, you've got like the packs of the salsa dips,
Right.
like that you open up. So it's quite nice that actually you put it on just like that.
Nah, I mean, what happens when you have to, like they usually process it. So you add in you put in your tomatoes on a food processor, you put in your onions, you put in your cilantro, your garlic, and then you process it to make it really smooth. This is a chunky salsa. So what you're going to get with this is that you're going to get a little more chunk, you're going to get a little more bite to it, and probably a little more flavor. And it doesn't have to be your typical salsa, which is tomatoes and onions and cilantro. It could be corn, it could be a bean salsa of some sort. And if you want to do dessert, you could do a fruit salsa if you wanted to. So all right. So I have my rice and then sweet potatoes, and now I'm just going to put a little bit of the tortilla cheese on there.
Beautiful.
And there you go. Yes.
Do you have enough? You're using your phone, aren't you? I was wondering if you had enough time to take a picture of that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I can take a picture with my iPad, I guess. Actually.
Okay. Can you just show us how you usually do that for your Instagram? Because there might be some people that are inspiring to kind of maybe start an Instagram page and they like food photography. Can you just give us some tips on how behind the scenes, what do you usually do if you take a picture of what you've got there?
All right. So, I mean, I'm still new to this process, and I'm still all right. So I'm still new to this process. I'm still trying to figure all that out. But initially I thought that people had a whole setup, to take the pictures. You go into some place that has a nice countertop, a nice background, and all of that, which obviously costs money, or you either have to have a really nice home. But I also found out there's ways around that. You just have to be creative. So on Amazon, they sell wallpapers, or that you can just put on a piece of cardboard, and it becomes kind of like a countertop. It gives you a better background.
Okay.
I noticed that I shoot better in the daytime, so I try to take a lot of pictures in the daytime.
Near a window.
Yes, you want to be near the window where you can get some sunlight. At nighttime, it's a lot harder. The pictures come out a little darker. It doesn't look too appealing to me. But I found that during the daytime is probably the best time to shoot. So I'm just going to grab something real quick.
While you're doing that, I'm going to bring up this Instagram page again. And just have a look at some of these dishes. Right, there's a picture here that I want to ask you. What was that about? Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
But I'll let you do your dressing first. That looks interesting.
Okay.
And then here we go.
All right, so this is just a piece of wallpaper I got off Amazon. It comes with two sides. so it
Oh,
looks like a countertop, but it's just a piece of wallpaper.
yes,
All
that's
right.
great.
So when I take my pictures, I just have a piece of cardboard on the back to give it some support. Lay it down flat, and I can do something like this.
Oh, you need to tilt down so that we see. Yeah.
So
Beautiful, nice and bright.
I get a close up. I get a close up picture of the background in a bowl itself. So
Mhm.
I mean, if I was doing this for a post, I'll probably make it a little nicer. I think this is pretty decent, but I mean, I probably would have made it a little nicer than this. But yeah, so here's your easy.
So you put some additional things like some
lunch.
peppercorns or some cinnamon sticks. You dress it up. You put things around the bowl, like maybe a
Yes.
cut
So
lime, a cut lime.
yeah, so like around the bowl, depending on what it is, I can put like a lime or something, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can toss in some extra cilantro on the sides or something, just to spruce it up. Um, you know, if I wanted to just give it a little more texture, put the leftover, put some corn in there, put it on the side as well. Just to give it a little more, fill up the space a little more. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
but
that's
not overcrowding it. I can see that you don't overcrowd it. You still give it room to breathe, and you let
right.
the focus be.
Yeah.
Actually, you probably need to be getting some tips from Mr. Adetiba, Remy Adetiba, some
I
photography
know.
tips.
Is he,
So
is
yeah,
he
I
gonna
think
charge me?
so.
Is he
Yeah,
still
obviously you're
on?
not crowding in.
Is he still on? Is he gonna charge me or something or what?
Charge you. I mean, even that work surface is quite nice.
Right. So
Okay, so as you're eating that, now we are going to ask you some. We're going to pick three pictures, and I'm going to ask you what was that all about. Okay, so you can start eating your food, and I'm sure you can, stick. Oh, and tell us, what are you drinking? Are you drinking coffee?
coffee, yes.
I'm just nosy. Coffee, okay. I don't do coffee, or I don't even do tea.
Oh, really? No, I
I
need
just do
coffee every day.
warm water in my flask, warm water,
No,
sometimes
I need I
ginger.
need I need my coffee every day. So. I actually had breakfast not so long ago, but I'm actually gonna save this for
So
lunch.
here we go. First picture.
Yep.
You'll save it. Okay, okay. You don't want the embarrassment of having to eat on camera, right? Very wise. Clever man. I see what you did there.
No. I
Okay,
ate.
so here we go.
Yep.
You ate, so you're not that full. Right. First image. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, this is all from your Instagram page. What was that all about?
You know what? I knew that was going to be the first picture.
Okay, so explain yourself. Tell us what was the thought behind this image picture? What was going on that day?
This was definitely a Monday night. So the gym I go to every Monday, not every Monday, one Monday a month, they have pizza night.
Okay.
And so I went to the gym as usual, and on the way out, I grabbed a slice of pizza. And right before I showered, I had my slice of pizza. So that was right after the gym, right before I showered. So I was having a slice of pizza, and it was definitely a Monday. I know that much.
How convenient. Hold on. So do you work out without a shirt?
Oh no, I do. No, this is I'm actually at home already, so no, I wouldn't take my shirt off in public. So.
Oh, so you took this pizza home and you're
Right.
taking your top off. All right, okay. I was gonna say, yeah, how convenient. You're like, yeah, I've just finished in the gym. I'm having my pizza.
Yeah. No, I probably need to take that down at some point.
No, it's interesting. It's interesting. It gives it a bit of flavor, a bit of flair. Okay, next picture. Don't worry, it's not going to be another person picture. So you can breathe easy. You can relax. It's going to be an explanation picture.
All right.
Here we go. Are you ready?
Yep.
Where is it gone? Okay. Here we go. What was that all about? Explain it. Explain yourself. What is it?
That's, I think,
Purple potatoes
right.
with
What
lemon
else is,
pesto sauce.
all right. And what is the, is there some sort of a protein on there as well? I mean, I can't.
Some jerk chicken.
Oh, all right. I think I grilled, I think on that day, it was probably just a random lunch, dinner or something. I probably grilled some jerk chicken, and I picked up some purple potatoes just for color, and I made some pesto sauce to use some regular pesto sauce. But um, now this isn't one of my better pictures, but it's just, yeah. So
I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't be rushing to go and eat this meal, but I'm sure once you put your knife and fork through it, it's very delicious and wholesome. It actually looks like fish. If you can
I,
see, it looks like it's a fish there with the eye,
nah, does it say jerk
but it's
chicken
not.
on there?
The jerk chicken, I think, is this.
All right, yeah. So that's definitely, I definitely grilled some jerk chicken, and then just had it for a quick dinner or something. So yeah.
Okay, you're excused. You've explained yourself because there are all sorts of things that could have been. I mean, it just looks very, very interesting, and there's so
Yeah,
many trends these days.
yeah.
I know you and I shared a teacher who used to drink. He was on urine therapy, wasn't he?
Oh yeah,
So he used to drink his own wee.
yeah. I actually remember hearing about that. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, so last one, just so that we can move on to healthy eating and healthy, sort of a healthy eating outlook before we wrap up.
Right.
What is this all about?
Oh, this is from my fiance.
Were you at a harvest event or something?
No, this is from my fiance's stepdad's garden. So he during the summertime he grows a lot of tomatoes and zucchini, peppers, and all that. So he obviously had a whole lot, and he gave us that much. So
Are
yeah,
these peppers or are these tomatoes?
those are green. Yes, those are tomatoes. So those are
Okay.
green tomatoes. They're not ripe yet, but those are tomatoes.
Yeah. And then what's this at the back? Is that
That's a zucchini.
courgette?
I think you might be right, because I think I've actually heard Gordon Ramsay use that word over there, but it's actually a zucchini. So
Which is the same thing. Yeah, it's courgette.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
And this, I'm guessing, is some sort of pumpkin or?
That's probably a squash.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
and there has to be, I think the leaves are basil, so those are definitely basil over there in the middle. And on the bottom left should be some hot peppers.
Chilies. Some chilies.
Yes.
Yeah, some chilies.
Right.
Okay. So I mean, you're obviously someone who is health conscious, and you are aware of the impact of what you put in your body and what impact it has, the outcome it has on you as an individual.
Right.
So I want to find out for you, it's kind of like a double barrel question: fitness and nutrition. Do you think that has anything to do with or plays a part in mental health? Because they do say there is, or they claim that there is a link between fitness and mental health, and getting outdoors and eating healthy. Do you think that there is a link?
Once again, I'm not an expert at this, but I do believe
From your experience.
I do believe that there's some sort of link between fitness and mental wellness. A lot of times, just going to the gym, after a long day or a stressful day, and getting to lift those weights and doing some cardio, maybe, I feel a lot better. I feel like I've just released a whole lot of stress and tension. So a lot of people would probably agree with me about just getting to a gym, lifting some weights rather than just sitting down at home and being depressed about how long a stressful of a day, a week you had. So I think a lot of people also, if you notice, a lot of people that are not in the best shape end up being somewhat depressed a lot of times, because they don't feel good about themselves, and they every little downfall, every little negative triggers their mindset. So I think it's definitely key to have some sort of balance between your fitness schedule, your nutrition, And that's going to, in turn, in my opinion, lead to some, I guess, mental wellness, if you want to put it that way, So,
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. I think I am very much in agreement with that. I think really what we put in our body does have a real impact on us in terms of even just the way you feel after you've had the meal. There's
right,
certain things that for me, I know can just trigger off, just not feeling right. Like sometimes depending on if I have cheese and things like that, it
right,
can trigger certain things. And I think being aware of what food does to your body and what movement and exercise can do to your body, the benefits and the negative key in this day and age, especially now that people are locked down at home in some countries. They're stuck at home. It's like, should I reach for X or Y? Should I sit here for 3 hours, or should I go out? If you've got a garden, go out into the garden, get some fresh air, or move about, get some
right,
exercise. And people are expected to work long hours nowadays, so you
right,
can't blame people for not being moving or being active. But
right,
I think probably the encouragement would be to find some way of incorporating it into your day rather than, right, okay, I have to exercise or I have to, because sometimes that's not achievable for some people because they're
right,
coming home after a long day at work. They've got kids, they've got, to make dinner, they've got to. So it's about trying to incorporate your lifestyle to suit you to your own benefit, whether
right,
it's making batch meals so that you don't have to cook every evening, unless you enjoy cooking, of course, and it
right.
relieves stress.
Hmm.
Whether it's finding a way to walk during your lunch break. I know personally, I used to stay in the office and have my lunch at the desk,
Right.
and I'd be,
Hmm.
doing some stuff as I'm eating my lunch. And that definitely wasn't healthy because I was staying in that position for almost 8 hours.
Right.
So yeah, movement and fitness is great. So
Yeah.
to last question then would be, if there was one thing that you had to encourage people or inspire people with or motivate them to be aware of or to take into consideration, what would that be? Drew?
Um, I, I, when you say inspire, I mean, are you talking about, in terms of following their passion or just in
It could
general?
be, if that's what your advice would be.
Okay. I mean, I think a lot of times people focus on, I mean, what I've noticed is that a lot of times people focus on the, when trying to achieve their passion, they focus on the wrong point of views, which a lot of times, a lot of people are probably focusing on the monetary aspect of it. How can I make money off of this? Or how can I make the most money, doing whatever? I think once you identify your passion and staying true to your passion and staying true to yourself and following through with your plans and achieving your goals, I think that once you can do that, in my opinion, I think that the money will come, by itself, because I mean, you're doing what you love, you're following your
Mhm.
passion, and then, who knows, maybe someone will see it. Maybe it can lead to something else that would be, just go beyond what you ever expected. I think a lot of people can identify with that. So it's just a matter of just sticking to it and, focusing on the passion point and not necessarily the monetary aspect of it.
Very, very wise words. Thank you so much, Drew. And
Yeah.
Drew Lightful
Yeah.
is your Instagram handle. That's Drew
Right.
Lightful. And if you look in the comments below in the description for this video, you'll be able to click on that and it will take you straight to his page so that you can see all those wonderful pictures that I was showing. And then I know you don't have any dates yet, but am I kind of talking in an Americanized way? You've turned me into, if I was talking to a Scottish person, I would have a Scottish accent right now. I tend to do that, just take on what someone else is saying. So Drew Lightful is the name of the Instagram handle, and your blog, soon to be launched, will also be called Drew Lightful, or is it something else?
Right now, as it stands, it's going to be delightful.
Mm-hmm.
But it might change. But I think that's what I mean. I think that's what caught my attention. It came from my name, and it came from the word
Yeah.
delightful. And
Yeah.
I just combined both of them, and I think that I really like that name. I've actually shot about 5 recipes or so. I'm actually waiting until I have about 10 recipes, and I'll launch it. So I'm thinking maybe in about 2 months, maybe.
Okay.
I should be ready to go, maybe less. Who knows?
We'll see. And then you'll obviously put those details on your Instagram page when it is ready.
Yes. So once I'm getting close to a launch date, I'll definitely be advertising. I guess selling my blog, if you want to put it that way. So
Yeah.
you see a lot of posts about Drew Lightful launching in so and so time. So it's coming pretty soon.
Okay. So if people, in essence, want to keep track of you, what they need to do right now is to click on the link at the bottom of this YouTube video in the description and follow you on Instagram, Drew Lightful. I have to be honest, I'm really not a social media, not fan, but a social media guru. I don't do Instagram. Someone was trying to do an Instagram live and I wanted to support them and I couldn't work out how it was. It's like, oh, the circle. So, but I think I put the link in there so that people can just easily go straight to it. And at the top, there's a blue square, a rectangle, and you just click on follow. But you have to have an account first to be able to do that. I'm explaining it to people because I'm totally one that needs explaining to. And then is there some talk of a YouTube channel sometime soon so people can actually watch you making videos and come back and just watch the recipes? Or is that somewhere in the far future?
That's probably going to be down the road. But the good thing about Instagram is that you can actually post your videos on. You can shoot some video. You can actually do some live videos on there on Instagram, as well as post actual videos on Instagram. So I might just use that platform to post my pictures, shoot my videos, and obviously maybe even do some live sessions. But that's going to be down the road once I've settled into actual blog.
Fantastic. Well, we're looking forward to it. Thank you again for taking time to tell us about what you're up to also just give us a taste of who you are, and hopefully as well give us something that we can pick from your life and apply into our own lives and help us to really just focus and think about the things that we can apply, or the things that we should continue doing. Because that's the other thing as well. It's not always about learning something new. Sometimes it's about recognizing that what you're doing is going to help you in the future and you should just continue doing it. So thank you very much. I really, really appreciate that. And for those of you who came late, I didn't mention the connection as why we know how we know each other. But Drew and I actually went to secondary school together in Africa. So we spent some time together in classrooms and mucking about and learning. So that's where the connection came from.
Right.
And he's going to be doing really great things, hopefully helping us to enjoy life as well as eat healthy. So there's a mixture of both. You can have the odd whatever it is, but at the same time being mindful of what we put in our body. Right. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks for hosting
and hopefully we'll be able to organize one of these sessions again. Definitely. All the best with your future plans as well with your fiance.
Thank you.
And thank you to everybody who, that's okay. Thank you to everyone who came in. And I'm just giving, a few more seconds, just if anybody wanted to ask a question, one last question, be happy. I'm happy for you to post that in there. Hopefully I'm not missing them out on the StreamYard link. So thank you to everyone that came in here, for being Sharon, Voclam, Wano Dunsi, Remi Adetiba, Aga Krenima in Uganda, Yugaman 01 Official. Those are the names that I have seen, and Mike Times. So thank you very much. And hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you gained something from it. And we'll be seeing you next time. And enjoy your lunch. Can you show us again? Can you show us the meal again? Okay, well, that's it for me, Elizabeth Ingero, and from Drew Ebireri, who is available on Instagram at Drew Lightful. And he might take on my suggestion to maybe start a YouTube channel called Drewlicious. If you do, then I'll be very happy to actually watch that. So So take care for
maybe
now,
down the road.
everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful bank holiday and a wonderful Africa Day, because today is Africa Day. So take care
That's
for
right.
now. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.